Hi there guys, I hope you have had a good day. Now, Derek Chisora has insisted he's physically stronger than Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. This is what he had to say. I'm stronger, crazier, and I want it more. I am not losing, I'm going all out, guns blazing. It's not just about how much I want it. When you want something badly, what are you willing to do for it? I'll go through this man, whatever he's got. He'll need more to stop me. The way I will come for him will be unbelievable. I will go through him. I don't think there's anyone in the heavyweight division right now. There's anyone that is stronger than me. Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury, Dillian Whyte, Deontay Wilder. No, they aren't stronger than me. I'm stronger, crazier, and I want it more. So there we go, that is what Derek Chisora has had to say about his fight with Alexander Usyk, explaining that he believes he's stronger than AJ Fury, Deontay Wilder. He believes then that he is the strongest in the heavyweight division. So ultimately, Derek Chisora believes that he's bigger, stronger, more powerful than those guys, and he believes that he wants it more. Now, what does a win over Alexander Usyk do for Derek Chisora? Well, it propels him possibly to a WBO mandatory position, maybe a world title opportunity after this fight. So if he wins this fight, then he's won the golden ticket to go and face AJ, possibly, because obviously Anthony Joshua has to deal with his IBF mandatory, Pulev, and then there's a WBO mandatory. Usyk is that mandatory, but if Derek Chisora beats Usyk, then he could slot in because he would have beaten the #1 contender by the WBO. So ultimately, Alexander Usyk presents a big opportunity for Derek Chisora, and he does not want to let it slip through his fingers. Derek Chisora always, it seems, to get big fights. He's had 9 pro losses, but still, he's still considered a big name in the heavyweight division. That's because Derek Chisora is durable, and on his best night, he's as good as the top guys. Not necessarily AJ Fury and Wilder, but ultimately, he's definitely as good as the top 10 heavyweights on his best night. It's just whether that kind of Derek Chisora turns up. Against Usyk, that must happen. The very best Derek Chisora must show up. Otherwise, it's not going to go well for him. Now, of course, in the past, we have noticed that Derek Chisora doesn't always show his best abilities. He sometimes just shows up and he's not really all there. I mean, Ajit Caballero is a prime example. And the worrying thing is, that was in front of 400 fans. Then go to the O2 against Takam, Dillian Whyte, those fights where he really brings out the best in himself. He has many fans, 20,000 at the O2, shouting Derek Chisora. And maybe he needs that, but he's going to have to try and supplement that somehow when he fights Alexander Usyk. How he's going to do that, I do not know, but it's going to be without fans, so there must be some way in which he replaces that kind of buzz and lift he gets from the crowd. Now, Derek Chisora is about 6'1", 6'2", and he's around 18 stone, so he's not considered a small heavyweight. Although he's not the tallest, Usyk is actually taller than Derek Chisora, but in size and weight, Derek Chisora is definitely the bigger man, and he has to use that to his advantages. So him saying that he's bigger, stronger than AJ, than Fury, than Deontay Wilder, he's going to have to make that count in this fight with Alexander Usyk. Usyk is going to use his supreme boxing abilities and his boxing brain to go in and out of range against Derek Chisora. Make him miss, make him pay. Chisora is going to look quite slow and average, maybe in those early rounds, but what Chisora must do is land something significant early on and continuously through the contest. Maybe Alexander Usyk is weak to the body. He was knocked down with a body shot in his amateur days, but maybe that's nothing to go on. Many fighters have been dropped in the amateur ranks to go on to have granite chins and extreme durability in the pros. So maybe work the body, slow Usyk down. That would be very important because Usyk is extremely fast and he fights with extreme intensity, but he maintains that throughout the 12 rounds. That is what Tony Bellew really struggled with in his fight. Tony Bellew got tired, Usyk didn't. It wasn't necessarily because Usyk was a big knockout puncher that he stopped Tony Bellew. It was more the accumulation of punches and the persistence of Alexander Usyk. It wasn't one big power shot that dropped Tony Bellew. It was just because Bellew got tired, got hit with too many shots, maybe shots that he could have prevented at times in the fight, but ultimately that got to him in the end. He broke him down and stopped him. Now, Tony Bellew was obviously fighting Usyk in the cruiserweight division, so Tony Bellew was expending a lot of energy by working himself, but what Usyk was doing in there, like pressuring him and landing his own blows, was also taking a lot out of Bellew. But Derek Chisora has 4 stone on Tony Bellew. Maybe not that much, but ultimately he is a fully fledged heavyweight. So is Usyk going to be able to put a dent in Derek Chisora like he did Tony Bellew? Is he going to be able to slow him up like he did Bellew? Or is Derek Chisora going to be able to soak up that kind of punishment and walk through Usyk's punches? And it is not just about having that kind of durability to be able to walk through Alexander Usyk's punches. Usyk is the faster man. Derek Chisora is undoubtedly the slower fighter in there. So what he must do is time his punches properly. If he times Usyk, works out a rhythm, then he can start landing his own punches, because if he does not do that, then he will not catch Usyk. But Usyk does get hit. He got hit a lot in that fight with Tony Bellew, and he didn't like it. So Chisora will punch harder than Tony Bellew. He will be stronger as well when he ties Usyk up. So what he does need to do is make it rough, time Usyk's punches if he can, and get his own power shots off. He's not going to win on points. He's not going to win many rounds. He has to stop Alexander Usyk. And the thing about Derek Chisora, he's always better going forward as opposed to going backwards. If he puts pressure on himself and uses angles, he bobs and weaves well when he comes forward as well. So Chisora does need to pressure the fight and try and make Usyk go on the back foot, because Usyk does like to pressure. He does like to come forward and come around at those angles. If Chisora cuts off the ring and prevents that from happening, then ultimately he can control the tempo and the distance of the fight, which he does need to try and do early on in this contest. And he needs to make sure that that size, weight and power advantage he believes he has in this fight, he needs to make that count every moment of this fight with Alexander Usyk. Guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Chisora Usyk, 31st of October, not long now. Chisora is backing himself to pull off a massive upset against Usyk. He believes also he's stronger than Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. And Usyk is going to know that on October 31st. One thing that we do know is that Derek Chisora will represent a tougher test for Alexander Usyk than Chaz Weatherspoon. Usyk's had one fight at heavyweight. Chisora has been at heavyweight his whole career. So Chisora needs to use every single advantage he has. The strength, the size, the weight, all of it. Use it against Usyk. As I said, Usyk is 1-0 as a heavyweight. Chisora has had nearly 40 fights as a heavyweight. So he needs to make that count in this fight. Use all of his attributes, because you can guarantee Usyk will. This fight is going to be extremely tough for both fighters. Not easy for Usyk, not any walkover job. Chisora is extremely motivated for this fight. Guys, anyway, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up and subscribe if you are new. Thanks guys.